Thank you. I'm actually the president of New College, and you got to, yeah. The job doesn't really pay well, but it's a good job. But that was our dean of students, or should I say our former dean of students. There's a lot of gay jokes there. I think he's trying to tell me something. Bunga bunga. Bunga bunga. So I used to be an elected official, and I hate speaking, and so I told my office, but just get me some, speaking, I'll try to get better at it. And so they said, hey, we got you a speech. And I go, okay, what is it? And it's like, over July 4th, they want you to go talk about America and patriotism. I go, great, where is it? Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club, whatever. And they go, no, it's at a nursing home. And I go, seriously? And they're like, yeah. And so I said, let me call the director. And I said, I'm not that great. It's kind of an older audience, kind of like this crowd. And I said, I'm not that good. And she goes, don't worry about it. You have nothing to worry about. And I go, why? And she says, because you go on at 2:30. And I go, I don't get it. She goes, you don't understand. At 2 o'clock, we serve pudding. And by about 2:15, everyone's asleep. So you'll do fine. So I go do it, and whatever. And then I get done, and the director comes over to me, and she said, hey, will you do me a favor? We had one veteran who was very, very sick, and he said, would you just ask the guy to come and talk to me about July 4th? I'd like to hear it. So I go, all right, just in his room? And she says, yes. And so I go into his room, I walk in, I look right at him, he doesn't even look at me. And so I start giving the speech, I say what I think is some good lines, and he just nothing. Doesn't look, doesn't smile, absolutely nothing. And so I do a couple more, and then I just wrap it up, because I'm like, this is not going well. And so I start walking to the door, and I think I gotta say something to the guy. And so I turn to him and I go, sir, I really, really hope you get better. And he pops up, he looks me right in the eyes, and he says, I hope you do too. So my mom and dad, they were older parents. They both grew up in the Great Depression. They both fought in World War II. They've long passed. But my mom was British, so she actually served in the Women's Auxiliary Force in London during the Blitz when the Germans were bombing. She was there the whole time. She would just regale us with these great stories. But growing up with that mom, I was, like David was 7, I was 7 years old, and I just knew there were two people in the world that were absolutely awful, awful people. They were called the Germans and the French. My mom just couldn't stand her favorite TV show was Hogan's Heroes. That tells you something. But one time she loads us all up. I had a large family. We get in a station wagon, we go to New York, and she takes us to the Statue of Liberty. And so we're gathered around the Statue of Liberty, and she's like, children, gather around. This is Lady Liberty. She was a gift from the French. You can see she has her arm raised high, holding the torch. But if it was really indicative of the French people, it would have had both hands. She would tell us that, she's getting into rifles. And I was like, why are you getting into rifles, Mom? And she goes, no, there's some really good buys. I'm looking at World War II vintage rifles, and the best ones are the French, because they've never been fired and only dropped once. Are there any French people? I apologize if there's any French people. But the last thing is my wife and I, we have 6 kids. And people always say, oh my gosh, you must be Catholic, you must be Mormon. It's like, we're not Catholic or Mormon. We just drink a lot. I was talking to my oldest daughter the other day, and I said, tequila, how was school? And she was complaining about fighting with her brother. I go, I'll handle it. So I go over and I say, hey, Courvoisier, stop it. Les has trouble finding Zeta. Try finding tequila and Courvoisier on the tourist things. It doesn't exist. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Richard. Down to our final